Star Wars Battlefront 3, a fully playable build of the Wii version of this game, has been leaked. And I want to preface this by saying I don't think people realize just how absolutely massive this is. Because if you're an old-time gamer like myself, and I say old-time, well, probably more so like PS2 era gamer, you will certainly know about Battlefront 1 and 2, because those were incredibly popular games to play both online and locally. LAN parties out the wazoo. It is an incredibly fun time. Battlefront 2 more than 1 for me personally, but it was an incredibly fun time, an incredibly good game, and the fact that there was a Battlefront 3 in the works, and above all else, was also going to come to the Wii. Well, it almost feels like every game was coming to the Wii. That like a leaked version of a fully playable build a week before the game was actually supposedly going to be cancelled is just insane to think about. Because following these games, the next good Star Wars games that we did get was Force Unleashed, and Force Unleashed was great. Force Unleashed 2 was god awful, but Force Unleashed 1 was a bloody banger, an absolutely excellent story-based Star Wars game, which I feel like we can never ever truly forget. So let's actually talk about this through this Polygon article by Ian Walker, but pretty much just kind of sum things up. A fully playable Wii build of the third installment of the original Star Wars Battlefront series recently surfaced online, providing us with the most complete version of the game we've seen since it was cancelled 16 sodding years ago. So this was back in 2008. Reportedly found on a Wii test kit discovered at an e-waste recycling center and lovingly restored by fan group Free Radical Archive, which, mind you, Free Radical were the guys working on the game. And if you recognize the name Free Radical, these guys worked on the original Time Splitters games. So for Battlefront to be worked on by the guys who made Time Splitters, you know you're going to be having a very, very good time. So, it's more than 8 months further along in development timeline than an Xbox 360 prototype that got leaked back in 2016. So far, there have been 2 leaks of Battlefront 3, and this is currently the most complete because it was a week before the game got cancelled, but 8 months after the 360 prototype was leaked back in 2016. So Star Wars Battlefront 3 was an open secret in the video game industry for years. After the success of the first 2 games, which, bloody hell, handled by Pandemic Studios, mind you, who also did the original Mercenaries game, something Playground of Destruction or something like that. But yeah, the original Mercenaries game, which was really, really good. 2006 indicated LucasArts had shifted development to a third game to Free Radical Design, the studio best known... Okay, there you go, Time Splitters. I didn't even need to say it before, but okay, there you go, it's in the article. That's, again, insane just to think about. Work on the project continued for several years, looking promising enough that LucasArts signed Free Radical to develop a 4th Battlefront. Unfortunately, the relationship soured between the two as leadership changes at LucasArts, leading to the cancellation of Battlefront 3 in 2008. It was pretty much done. It was in final QA testing. Free Radical founder and former studio director Steve Ellis told GameIndustry.biz in 2012. So the fact that this is the most complete version of the build would suggest that this is potentially an actually playable, fully complete version of Star Wars Battlefront 3 that was previously cancelled development in 2008. That is, again, crazy to think about, and the only real way of being able to play it at the moment would be with a custom version of the Wii emulator Dolphin. It's not perfect and requires some controller fingering to properly replicate the Wii's motion controls, but what's there definitely aligns with Ellis' statement on how far along the game was in its development process, and only stands to get much better as more fans get their hands on the code and provide polish that it didn't receive, forget a decade and a half ago. So this is actually crazy, insane, whatever words you want to use. I am incredibly happy to see that, this sort of thing is actually coming out, that news of this is surfacing, and that it is now in the hands of the people of the internet. The problem is, though, you can only archive something for so long and in so many different places, especially with the Internet Archive going under a decent amount of scrutiny at the moment. So I guess with all that being said, the question is, how long will this actually be able to be preserved for moving forward? But also, who among the audience are actually going to be, completing the actual, putting that polish on to the final Wii build that we now see in front of us as we speak? Only time will tell if it becomes even more playable than it already is. But with all that being said, though, this is actually a really cool thing that I wanted to talk about, because this is absolutely huge, all things considered, when it comes to video game preservation. Not only that, but also the fact that our third Battlefront game, the most complete version that we have ever seen, is currently on the internet, and the internet never forgets. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of next year, and with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.